So, hi everybody. It is so nice to really see everybody getting admitted. Technology figured out. So, thank you for being patient with me. And it's really good to see everybody. My goodness, Nick, it is really good to see you. It has been way too long. Process. And then we'll answer questions. We've got some news to share tonight, so I'm glad you're all there. Bill, you're at the top of my screen on the left, so top to bottom, left to right. You're first, Bill.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Noah says I ought to be getting the prettier and the stronger hammer soon, and I have a local man who's going to sub for me. I'm currently using a walker, and I don't think that makes the best impression when you walk in. So my friend is going to take those and take them to the local Ace Hardware and see what their response is. And the approach, instead of saying, hey, give me a little time here, I got something for you to look at, the approach is going to be, hey, which of these two grips would you use? So that people are drawn into the thing, hopefully immediately. And I'm also meeting with my patent lawyer midweek next week, and he's got another project working on me, something that I'm calling Skinny Ratchet, which might be appropriate for the hardware show the following year.
All right.
I'm also exceedingly fortunate in that there is a member of my church who did the website for the church, and I'm working with her, and she's going to do the website for me. I recently cranked up a new corporation to handle the hammer, and I really wish that I had known 2.5 years ago what I know now, and that is there ain't no easy road to get to licensing a patent. You really have no bloody choice but to make some and go see if there's a market and find out what the price point is, et cetera, et cetera. So anybody, who thinks that the old adage that says build a better mousetrap and the world will be the path to your door is still true, disabuse them of that notion, because it is not true. You got to do it yourself.
The inventor's old business plan used to be have idea, get patent, make money. And over the years, we have, done everything that we can to say, no, it just doesn't work that way. It's hard. And there's no place you can go where they're going to do all of it for you well. There are organizations out there. We've done radio shows on the Scoundrels, because you've got to make your business decisions based on what you gathered at each step. So you don't know where you're going to end up. And that's one of the things that, we've really learned is that, it's one step at a time, and, you make appropriate decisions. Like for some, the most valuable $500 they spend is on the search, because when they get it back and they think, holy cow, should not have done this. In the meantime, an attorney has to charge them a lot of money. And especially when they do it in between the provisional. So they paid a lot of money. There's one attorney out there that charges like 10 grand for a provisional and then 3 grand for the utility. It's like, well, you should have started out, at the 2 to 3 mark for the provisional, because the total shouldn't be more than about 8 unless you're doing a new tractor. So, hard lessons, really hard lessons. So anyway, Bill, we're glad you're, getting it figured out there, and it'll be really nice to have you at the show with us. Andrea.
Hello.
Hello there, dear. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you. You too. It's cutting in a little bit. What did you have a question? I can't hear you.
I was going to say, tell everybody what you've done, what you're working on, what your invention is.
Okay, great. So my invention is a pet feeder. It can feed your pet up to 2 weeks, and it's like travel luggage for your pet. So really excited about it. I don't see anything out there, but it's currently in a patent search mode again. So I did it once through one of the one-stop shops, not happy with, don't feel really secure with that. So going into a deeper search, I want an international and a domestic patent coverage. And then I'm going to be thinking about prototypes. I've got too many people already asking, they want one, and where can I order it? I don't have it. So
I did send your CAD drawings off to a prototyper today, and I said, take a look at it and tell me, because it's a little bit different. It's not just going to be a 3D prototype. He's got to be able to buy parts. And I did check with him. It's like, some of this stuff you're just going to go out and buy a case, and then you're going to make the containers that go inside of it. So take a look at this. It's part of what was filed. And if you're comfortable with it, then I'll make the introduction. Otherwise, I've got another gentleman I will introduce you to, and I know that he does configure it. But Scott he's been doing it for a long time, and he's got patents of his own and products of his own. So I wanted to give him a chance to take a look at it for you. And then we'll take it from there. I know, the hardware show, we had a pet product at the hardware show last year, and now we're showing it to a couple of companies for licensing. It's a pet leash. And so we had one take a look at it. They didn't like it. We're showing it to another one now, and then we've got it going off to a couple of others. So, it's just, you got to show them where you can, and get them out.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell everybody who you are, where you are, and what you're working on. And unmute yourself, dear. Leo, your turn.
Oh, sorry. Didn't hear my name. Right now I'm currently working on a cattle herding product, and it's very niche, so there's that, but it's also really the big obstacle is getting the proof of concept footage, because it's been very difficult to approach people and say, hey, can I herd your cows? Because I came up with the idea back when I had cows, and I don't now. So it's like, well, I need cows. So yeah.
You're right. That's a niche one. We get some that are, more commercial, and then we always get some. All righty. Okay. Let me find out. All right. So finish. You go ahead and finish doing your alking. I have got to send somebody the link.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm curious as to what entities would best be suited to acquire it, because it's definitely a product I want to license. It's not something that I would want to stick my neck out in and bootstrap. It's something I'm more interested in licensing to folks, but really outside of a few ag giants, I'm not super familiar with the landscape. It's something I'm currently trying to familiarize myself with.
Yeah. I would think that you would go to, some of the bigger, like the tractor supply companies, see what you can find there. And, you're right on the footage part. That's not something where you can just, build a prototype like Andrea can or Bill can with a new hammer. You've got to be able to prove your proof of concept has really got to be on that, showing how it works.
Exactly. Yeah, my nephew's got a drone, so I know how I'm going to film it. It's just more a question of finding somebody who's willing to let me herd their cows.
I don't have any. I have bears and dogs.
No, good deal. Oh, and I thought William had his hand raised, or did I missee that?
Bill, do you have something you can add there?
Well, I did, but I think it's now, when Andrea was talking about what she had, it occurred to me that I leaped right into where I am, and I did not explain what my hammer is. And basically, my hammer causes the individual, the user, to rotate the forearm 90 degrees toward the inside of the body. And that frees up the wrist for better and greater flex. And it also better aligns the tool and the forearm so that it becomes more accurate and more powerful, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought maybe it would be appropriate to stick that in. I should have done it earlier, but hopefully later is better than never.
Interesting. I'd love to see that. I'm mentally picturing like a kettlebell handle on a hammer, but I know that's not it.
Well, the thing is that instead of having what is basically a circular tube as the handle has a larger surface left-right. So, and that engages the palm. And then the shaft comes out of the handle, and it either fits between the forefinger and the thumb, or the forefinger and the index finger, depending on the preference of the user. And
Interesting.
it really does work things out. One of the things that's been very encouraging to me is Rita's comment after I sent her a very crude copy of my hammer.
Are you going to share that?
Well, I don't have a picture of it handy, but
I know.
I was, and I've used her name, so I ought to probably follow up on that just a little bit. I sent her a crude copy of it. And then sometime later, I got a little thing back that said, you know, it was a little bit clumsy at first, but now I can't imagine using a hammer any other way, which I thought was wonderful.
It was like, it doesn't fit quite right in my hand. And then I started to understand what it was supposed to do. And it's like, okay, you know, now I got to go back to using the really awkward one that doesn't fit well. But it was, you know, the original one that was in my husband's toolbox. And so it was really kind of interesting the way, you know, the way you've got to try it and use it before you get the idea of how it's going to feel in your hand.
Yeah.
So, all right, Brandon.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I am Brandon Kohler. I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana, and simultaneously as I was making my first product that hit market, I made a product development company to do a white glove approach with helping people get products off the ground. And then I have a product that helps, a firearm accessory helps you put together an AR-15 rifle. And I've been on a couple prominent YouTube channels with it. I've been at the NRA show. I've been doing a lot of trade shows and small weekend gun shows. I go to gun shops to sell my product, to wholesale it, and they buy sometimes 1-packs, sometimes 50-packs. I'm working on getting in a couple more big box stores so that you can see it. I'm working on more models, and then I'm helping other people that are trying to bring gun products currently to the market.
Excellent. Nick, you had your hand up. You're muted. Unmute yourself. There you go. We can't hear you, Nick. If you can hear him,
There is a trace amount of voice. If I had to guess, I'd say your webcam is acting as your cam or as your mic right now. I think that might be it.
Can you turn up the volume on your computer, Nick? All right, we're not really hearing you, honey.
Yeah, there's a voice, but it's
I know.
very, very low.
It's very faint. All right. Well, being someone who had some issues with
Try tapping on the mic and see if we hear anything. You know, like tap on it, Nick.
tap on the mic.
Nope,
Nope.
nothing.
Nothing.
All right, you keep playing with that. We're gonna move on. All right, Jesse, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm in Lexington here. I'm part of the group here in Lexington. I'm working on one area that spreads out into 3 different products. I've drove Leo crazy about it because it covers 3 different areas, but it's based on one principle. One area is in grooming, hair grooming for humans and pets. The other one is an exercise device. And then there's the kernel device itself. So and by the way, I've already wrote up but not applied for my PPA, so I'm still in stealth, and I have all of the CAD drawings and actual physical prototypes, and beyond prototypes, what me and what our group calls demo types. It's it's I've brought the prototypes to the level where they look like they will on the shelf almost.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, today we were talking we did the radio recording. I had to pull over to a rest area to do that. And we were talking about what do you need to go to a trade show? Well, what you need kind of depends on what you're trying to accomplish. And, that first time out the door, you're taking then the proof of concept prototype. So Leo, yours proof of concept is going to have to be a video. There's no way you can, take a whole bunch of cows to the trade show. They might get kind of cranky at you. But you could certainly do, a nice setup as far as the videos go. Last year, Jeff went with us. He had what he figured his rough prototype. We actually mentioned you on the radio show today, Jeff, because, it was one that you had used. You'd gone out there and you had worked it and used it. So it looked beat up, but it meant you were using it as something that was, nice and shiny and then broke the first time you went out the door. So, when you're going out and I get inventors say, well, I have no inventory. I don't really know what I'm doing. The first gentleman was on, he's going with us this year and he goes, I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's like, that's okay. Cause there's going to be a whole team of people there that are going to help you with what you're doing. And so, you go through different phases of prototypes and you try them, you break them. It's just like Bill with a hammer. You try them, you break them, you go back to the drawing board. There was a gentleman I talked to today. He had thousands of them made and the packaging he admits it, he picked it. It condensed in the packaging. It got hot and it destroyed the product that was inside. So all of like 5,000 units were trashed. He goes, I can't even use them as proof of concept prototypes because they break when we try to use them. And he goes, and I've got all of these thousands of these sitting in the basement. He goes, my wife is ready to kill me. I said, I am sure she is. Not only are they down there collecting dust, but he can't use them. So you learn a lot in the process. We're going to talk about packaging on one of the shows and some of those difficult things that you learn as you're going through the steps. So Jesse, we're glad to have you with us. Jeff, you want to talk about kind of where you are and what's going on? Turn off you got to turn your mic on, hun.
Yeah, I know. I got to find it. This
There you
interface is different. It took a little while to get in. So anyway, yeah. So I took my garage prototype to the National Hardware Show last year, and got a little bit of interest. But I've got my patent, utility patent filed or about to be filed, and then I'm working with with Noah Ely on trying to clean up my prototype and make it a more than a garage prototype. So that's what we're working on right now, trying to get it down to where we can, manufacture it, and get it in a form that's easy to manufacture and economical to manufacture. So
yeah, that those the price points, boy, when you get ready to start going to manufacturing, can really give you some indigestion for sure.
Yep.
So, all right. Wendy, you're here.
I am. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes.
Okay. I have a product that is normally going to be used in the hot tub industry and possibly the physical therapy field. It's called Float No More. It's a weighted lap pad that will strap around your waist or your leg to hold you in a hot tub from floating away. I float all the time, and therefore a couple of other people that everybody I show it to seems to say, oh, I know somebody who floats away. So it's patent pending. I'm just about done with my prototype, Rita. I'm about ready to pick colors and send it off to the manufacturer for a quote. And that's what my goal is to have a prototype. My goal is to have, in perfect world, would be to have a prototype, a website, and a little, what do you want to call it? Like a loop thing, like a video that maybe I might be able to have run. I don't know if you guys have that at the trade show or not.
Absolutely. We've got 3 55-inch monitors, and we put all the videos together so that they're all looping. And then we have on the thumb drive, we have everybody's individual one. So if Bill, somebody wanted to see your video, you'd be able to go over and stop any one of the monitors and pick your video and show just yours. And so
Nice.
with the three large monitors, it gives you then the chance to be able to have access to them. I've got some people that won't bring their own small one that they'll set behind theirs, and then they just take it back with them to their motel room at night. And even, that's fine too. We have plenty of electricity in the booth, and so whatever works. And we've actually had people that have only had renderings, Leo, come to the show. And one had they had a pretty good sized prototype, but you couldn't show how it worked because it required fire. So it's kind of like cows. They really don't like that in the convention center. But they came and they showed it, and it worked really well for them. So you can certainly get away with doing that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sarah, hi. Can you unmute yourself and talk to
Hi.
us? There you are. Hi.
Sorry, I was I get the time wrong. You know, I'm over in Seattle, so the Eastern time, I'm gonna get it.
Well, Brandon, you said you were in Indianapolis. I am only about 50 miles away from you tonight because we are driving across the country, and we just like Indianapolis is the goal for tonight, so we don't have so far to go tomorrow.
Yay.
But yes, I do get the time zones thing. I've got to stop and it's like, we were doing the radio show from one time zone and then the meeting from another time zone tonight. It's like, just get me a glass of wine.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you guys too. So you are going to the hardware show with us. Tell everybody what you got.
I have my patent. I was just going to pull out one of my rough prototypes. This one's like not the working one, but it goes on a power tool, and it's a trowel. It's a power trowel, easy trowel. So it replaces the rectangle trowel as far as finishing concrete goes, pressing down the rock. So
excellent.
Exciting.
Excellent. All right. Did we get everybody? Did I leave anybody out? If so, Nick, did you ever get your mic working for us? If so, come back on and I'm happy to, get you on so you can introduce yourself. I have known Nick Carbone. He's got a baby product. It goes on the car seat. So when you're carrying the car seat, they get heavy when you're doing it like this. And if you put it on your arm, for grandsons, I know how heavy they can get. It puts all this dangerously on your muscles right here as you're trying to pull it. And so his spreads the weight out. So it makes it a lot easier to, carry those little car seats, because the car seats, by themselves, you can get them in. But boy, as soon as you put an infant in there, it's all of a sudden heavy lifting. So it can be tough. Sarah?
I have twins, and I have four boys. And let me tell you, like, when you get into the multiple section, those car seats are so heavy. Thank goodness my back. So that's a great invention.
Leo, you're a twin. Yes, we feel for your mother. It's so funny because the kids, when they're close in age, mine were only a year and a half apart, so they were crossing over. They might as well have been twins. And so Nick has got that product. He's been working on it for some time. We've shown it a lot, been to some trade shows, but it's just he ran into that early on, into that if you use anything on a car seat, it's like putting something on a ladder, where then the manufacturers of the car seat will not honor their product liability insurance. And so that's something that, a lot of inventors don't realize until they get down the road. Now, the gentleman who was doing the ladder product, who ran into that, he went out and bought the insurance. He said, I've got thousands of these in a warehouse ready to sell. And so he went out and bought the $50 million product liability policy, but he was manufacturing, and Nick needed to license his. So anyway, an update, because there's several of you who have either been to the National Hardware Show or are planning on going with us this year. So a little bit of an update as we're going through some changes. We're going to be going under the banner of Invent America this year. So one of the qualifiers is we get everybody on the show, on the radio show, prior to going to the National Hardware Show. The banners will all be the red, white, and blue Invent America banners. They've shifted our space now. We are actually, where we were going to be in the second row by the entrance down towards the end, we are now actually in the very front of the main entrance, where people come in from the cafeteria and the registration. So we've made some shifts a little bit. We're going to take a look this week when I get back at how, if we have to do any rearrangement of the spots. Like Bill, you've picked your spot. Wendy, I think you've picked your spot. So we'll take a look at those, make sure that those are still good, see if we've got to move anything around. But it was a good move for us, and being able to go out there, we're going to be broadcasting from the booth. So you guys have all, most of you have all will have been on the show at least once, and some of you multiple times. So that's kind of what we've been working on, and getting things out there for, all of our inventors, and getting everything teed up. So we're excited about it. A little bit of a shift, but now as we've taken over, we've just celebrated 1 year with Invent America. And so as we've done more with them and everything, being able to, Michael is saying, this is yours, you do with it. But I'm sorry, Inventor Lady Orange and Black just does not mix well with Invent America Red, White, and Blue. So we split them apart, so they're their own separate business entity, their own separate website. And so this year we're going to try going under the banner of Invent America, and we'll have all new matching banners and everything for the Red, White, and Blue. So, we're excited about it, and really looking forward to, getting out there and showing all you guys off. But the criteria then is that everybody is looking for licensing, which you are, and that you've been on the radio show. So that makes it nice and easy. But that's been one of the kind of our big challenges, is how we wanted to, shift that a little bit. So Brandon.
Do you have to be on the radio show for that product that's going to be at the hardware store, or can you have been a separate guest on the radio show, but a product at the hardware store that matches hardware store?
Oh, honey, I don't care. I can say you've been on the show. That's all that counts. You can bring whatever product you want. So what we're looking at is just being able to say, yes, these are all clients of Invent America. They've all been on the show. And for the most part, they're looking for licensing. There's some wiggle room on some of that. But that's kind of the criteria that we're looking at, is that when they go to inventamerica.info, and they pull up the National Hardware Show 2024, that they see, Brandon Kohler there, or Sarah Noette there, or William Holly there. And, if you've got multiple products there, not a big deal. It doesn't matter which one you've been on the show with. You are a member of the family. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
And it's in the spring, right?
End of March. It is 26, 27, 28 of March. So now that we've gotten this kind of ironed out, we're really looking at filling those spaces. So if you've got anybody in, your neck of the woods, anybody that's been working with you that you work with as a service provider, and you say, hey, we got some spots open for the National Hardware Show. And the interesting thing is that, we're going to be in kind of a new section this time. So we'll be down by the, we're going to be at the opposite end of the hall from the United Inventors Association. And part of this trouble all stemmed from dealing with them, the United Inventors Association. They've gotten rather snarky in their old age, and they see us as the competition. So we said, fine. They wanted us actually to move back by them. It's like, you guys are by the cargo door. We don't want to move back by you. So instead we moved right up to the front and said, that's, we don't want to be back there in the back. So they're in the back, we're in the front. Yay. That's always good. And where some of our inventors, Jeff, you probably remember this, that they would be in our booth, but then there was a few of them that bought a space in the new product area, and it was an additional cost. We're right across from it this year. So everybody's part of the new product area, and nobody has to pay anything extra for it. So that was one of the real draws of being in that new space, was like, heck yeah, we're right next to it. So we're by, some of the other categories that we've never been next to before. So we're really looking forward to it. All right. Any questions? What's going on with anybody? Or I'm just going to ask you some questions. Jesse, we cannot see you. You're a cloud floating in the sky with a heart on top of you. Tell us more about what you're working on.
Well, that's interesting. That's one thing I wanted to ask about. I know how to do it on the Zoom when I'm using Zoom, but I don't know how to put even a photo here. How do you put a photo? That's the first question.
Okay. Look down at the bottom of your screen. You'll see 3 little dots.
Yep, I see those. I'm tapping on them.
All right, tap on that. You will see you'll see
Settings.
apply
Settings,
visual
maybe?
effects. Apply visual effects.
Apply visual effects.
Click on that.
Mm.
And that should give you some different pictures.
Well, that's the reason I did that I've got up there. That just sort of happened by accident, but that's okay. We can do that later.
Okay.
I'll
Well, did
ask
you turn-
Leo. He's my tech advisor.
All right. Well, you can turn on your camera.
But I would at least like to have a photo, even though I don't want to be on screen live. I would like to have a photo there.
All right. Well, that's how you do it. Is you can actually there's a button there when you click apply visual effects to add a photo.
I don't know if Leo put that for everybody, but yeah.
So
I admit I'm digitally challenged. I'm not engineering challenged, but I'm digitally challenged.
Well, if I can learn it, I think almost anybody can, because just got to figure out the right buttons to click. So anyway, so you said you are still kind of in those early step processes. So you can't share very much.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I wish I could, but yeah, I'm very stealth. Would you not agree, Leo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Leo's
Okay.
very aware. We work together on it.
Okay. So I was trying to get the link to Jeff there. So what industry are you working in?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. But
Lowest hanging fruit, health
ironically,
and beauty.
I'm sorry. Leo, you were
sorry.
talking. right.
Yeah, sorry, I was filling in. Yeah, the lowest hanging fruit in his endeavor is health and beauty.
Oh, okay. How about younger? Can you make me younger? That would be awesome.
I can make it easier to do a certain thing. Much easier.
All right. All right.
It's a time-saving device. And
Great.
ease gets rid of, makes it easier.
All right. That's great. Okay. Does anybody have any, problems you're dealing with, next steps that you want some help with? Leo, when are you going to have a video for us?
Yeah, that's actually one of the questions I was thinking is, after I have a video showing it to the right people, does anybody know if there's an ag-centered list of inventor-friendly companies? Because I've seen a lot of lists of inventor-friendly companies, but that's kind of a category I don't really ever recall coming across.
All right. Who's going to be the buyer? A rancher?
Definitely, yeah.
A rancher's
Anyone with livestock other than horses and chickens. I
Okay.
guess it could work on chickens, but yeah.
All right. All right. So you're looking livestock, sheep? Do they herd? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Herd
No, it
sheep?
100% works on sheep. Cows are the most in demand, mainly just because it cuts down on the danger. And little known fact, cows actually kill a lot of people per year, and this will help with that.
Okay. That would be some work that would need to be done, because it's not something that we come across every day for sure.
Sure.
Is there hardware and software?
It is at present a manual device. It's a handheld device. I do want to upscale it for an ATV fitted version, but presently, just by virtue of it being the lowest hanging fruit and the fact that that's how I discovered it, it's manual.
I think there's going to be some companies out there that you probably didn't think of, that it's not something that's in our everyday drive-by. Now, out in Tennessee, there probably are some. But what I think you're going to find is that some of the local stores, like we've got a True Value that's down by us, and they really cater more to that because that's the environment that we live in. So you may find some local stores that nationally they may not do it, but locally something that they would consider. Certainly the tractor supply companies, they do a lot of more of the farm stuff. But it may be something that is more of a geography, at least to get you started.
Sure. That makes
Um,
sense. Thank you.
My daughter lives in northern Utah. There's a lot of the ranches out there.
Mhm.
And
There's-
so when I get out there, we can take a look. Andrea?
Yeah, I just want to jump in and say, I know there's a group called Homesteaders of America, and I don't know, they have different locations around. There's some here in Loudoun County where I live in Virginia, but that group actually caters to a whole group of different people who do fruits and vegetables, animals, you know, all kinds of livestock, and something like that, a co-op, but it's called Homesteaders of America. They might be able to help.
I'm so glad you said that. It's funny. Sometimes if you're too close to something, you don't see it.
Yeah.
I write for a homesteading magazine, and homesteaders I never even thought of.
Yeah, that's
What?
a group.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
You're welcome.
yeah, when you get your video done, if you send it to us, we'll get you on the radio show for one. And then we start shooting that link out.
Sound good?
All right. So when you're ready, you let me know.
Will do.
And we'll take some steps to, you know, get you out there and get you on the radio.
Awesome. Thanks.
You betcha. Yep. So anyway, Sarah, do you have your prototype all ready to go to the hardware show? Are you working on it?
Noah's working on it with me.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, Noah's excited to make it what, you know, he knows he can make it to be. And I was just thinking for Leo, you know, Leo, one of the ways, like, do you have a Facebook account?
I do.
So if you search, just put cow in there and click on groups, you'll see all the cow loving groups. And there's like million people in the cow. I see like a dozen cow groups.
Love it.
You can
Thank
put
you.
your video, join all the cow groups.
Good deal. Oh, that's a great
That's for
idea.
sure. The cows, the bisons, one of the things you might look at is some of those zoos that allow the animals to run open as well. And that might be a way to get, you know, some of, you know, groups to try it out. You might even, you know, go into a zoo and say, look, I see where you've got, you know, all the deer out there. Would you try it?
That's a
And
great
do
idea.
some test marketing with it, and then get their feedback.
Excellent. No, thank you.
Because then you can be selling it to the zoos all over the world.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
So as far as mine goes, but you're asking, and I know, I'm sorry, but William Holly's got his question up too. I was just going to let you know. I told you that Neil is working on it, but I was, you know, one of the things that I'm needing and I'm working on is an investor to help fund it. So I don't know if you guys have experienced that, or if I need somebody to like help fund the first manufacturing ream.
So you're getting the prototype ready for the show.
Yeah.
All right. You may end up just going after licensing so that you don't have to do
okay.
Yeah. If you go after licensing, you don't have to do the investor thing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks.
And that's where a lot of inventors really get stuck, is you spend so much time chasing the money, you forget to, you know, just take care of business, get it to the show and license it.
Perfect.
All right. Because I know that, you know, that was one of the things that, you know, we dealt with the group that had that new healthcare product. And, you know, she didn't, her prototypes even, you know, she went and bought the powders off and remixed them and put them into a new bottle and test marketed, but she did not have any money to do. She got her patent done and got the attention of a company that licensed it. And so that was really good. Jeff, are you still there? Jeff might have left. All right. I was going to introduce him because he's using Noah as well, Sarah. And he called me and had a couple of questions.
I have a question, Rita. I was going to ask because I heard Sarah's use the name Noah. Are you talking about Noah of Quick Start?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Because I intended to reach out to him. I have not yet.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's a super guy. Jeff is working with him. There's several other of our inventors. He's one of our sponsors for the radio show.
Yeah, I saw him on several, I don't even remember where, but different interviews and such. I don't remember where they were, but I was really impressed.
So yeah, I like him. He contacted us about being a sponsor, and we got it up and running real fast. And he's got about probably a half a dozen of his clients asking to go to the show with us. So it's great.
Well, that just makes me more comfortable about reaching out to him anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell him Sarah sent you.
Okay, will do, Sarah.
All right. All right. Wendy, how are you doing, honey?
Sorry, my dog started barking as soon as you started talking. Of course they do.
There you go.
But I guess I'm doing. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I guess I'm doing okay. I'm working on my prototype. I likewise, I was trying to listen to what you guys were saying about best place. I think the next thing to do is either work on a website or work on a video. And I don't know which one is actually easier, but that's probably what I'd try and go to next.
Yes. Okay. So the good question, good topic, because everybody needs a video for the show. You can actually do a video with your camera if you get somebody that's willing to be in a bathing suit in a hot tub and take a picture of it. Not everybody wants to do that one. But you can get 2 or 3 different people, different, men, women, kids, maybe somebody that's using it, for therapy and stuff. Short ones, you're looking for, 10, 15-second interviews with people sitting in the hot tub that you can put together in a single video. Either that or look at having, those as being separate, and you talk then about the product, show the product. But again, the videos, especially for the hardware show, are short. They're usually less than 60 seconds. If you have multiple ones, we can put them on the website so people can actually link to them and post them out there. But you can actually do them fairly inexpensively with just your phone camera. The big thing though is hold your camera horizontally, not vertically. All right. When you hold the camera, and the perfect example is if you hold your camera vertically, you're going to end up looking like Leo, where you've got the black bars on each side. And if you hold it horizontally, you're going to look like everybody else. Right. So it's the black bars that people kind of set people off. You don't get a full screen. But if you hold it horizontally when you take the video, if you're going to be on the video, then have somebody else, hold it. Try to hold it as still as you possibly can. So it's not shaky, but you can certainly do them. We have a lot of people that do them with their phone. Make sure you've got good lighting. And then if you have a name, you do a cute logo. We can actually have our guy Mike, post them together for you, splice them together. There you are, Leo. So that you don't have to, hire somebody to do it.
Right.
Michael put your logo. He can input flat pictures on it if you want some added to it. And his pricing is very reasonable.
Does he if I don't have a logo and I'm trying to think of one, is this a person you can email me that can connect with me to help make a logo? I mean, a logo to me, I don't have a logo yet.
Oh yeah. No, he's very good. Just very talented. He does all of our web work for us, and he's made some beautiful logos and very reasonably priced. Brandon?
Leo would also tell some of the AI logo generating stuff that you can type it in what it is, and it will give you a bunch of color schemes, but Leo knows the names of those.
Yeah, I really like Brand Crowd, and Canva actually now has some integrations, like AI integrations that work really well for logo generation as well.
Cool. Leo, can you send those in the message so that Wendy could grab them?
Sure,
or email
absolutely.
them to me. You can email them to me and I can send them to her.
Cool, can do.
Okay,
Thank
that way
you.
then you got those. I know that it was Dave Claypatch that was on one time and said that you can actually do a video and then do your own voiceover and it will mock it up for you. And that's what he has done, and it looked great. Technology has come a long way in the last 15 years. It's really given us a lot of options. So it's, just sitting at the meetings like this, when you say, all right, this is my challenge, like Wendy just did, and you said, oh, this is how you do that. So very cool. And we're happy to share all of the resources with everyone.
Don't spend 6 months on your logo.
No. Oh,
Just
goodness,
do
no.
it.
Yeah. You're not gonna file a registration on it. All you need is a name for the show and something cute. I know I did a logo for a guy. Nick, you would remember him. It was the Greasco guy, John Bilby. And, it's like, we're down and dirty. We're going to the hardware show. We need to get this done. And so I think in 24 hours, he still uses that. And he actually got the registered trademark on that little character face for Greasco. And, every time I say I need a bottle and I get that, it's got that little character on it. It's like, yes, you can do it. And I just, pulled a couple things together and made the logo for him. So don't do a lot of brain racking on this is the point, Wendy. Just get something that you can use. A lot of times when you license, they're going to want to rename it. Now, not always, but it's like the girl that had the medical product. She calls it the Stoma Saver, but we don't think she can get a trademark on that. It's the two words are too generic. Stoma is protected by the company that actually licensed it from her. And Saver is not unique enough. So they're gonna go ahead and rename it now that she's got, a license, and then she'll still pay for it. She'll still get it registered, but the licensee wants it to line up with their other products. So, you don't need to go, you can put a TM on it, the little TM symbol. It's kind of the poor man's "this is mine." It stands for this is the mark that you're using. But even if you had filed for a registered mark, you'd still use the TM until it issued. So nobody knows, and it's nobody's business that it's like, no, I haven't filed anything yet. No, this is my mark. This is what I'm using.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So, and that way, then if you get a licensee that says, no, we really want it to fit in our lineup, we're going to rename it. You haven't spent a lot of time, energy, and brain power and money trying to get something that they want to change. And as long as they're selling them, you don't care what they call it.
I don't care. Yeah, exactly. I kind of really don't care.
Yep. And especially then if we end up, if they want to private label it to somebody else, that you don't care there either, as long as they're selling them and making money for you.
Right.
Yep. So,
okay.
Brandon, you got your hand up.
I was just going to say, when I did my exclusive contract, they renamed my product.
Oh, good for you. You got an exclusive contract then. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. So be prepared for it to be renamed or changed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not unusual.
Doesn't really matter as long as you're selling them, I suppose.
Yeah. There was a lady years ago that licensed Disposal Genie to Home Depot. And it's still sold in the Home Depots all over North America. Home Depots, Lowe's, online, everywhere. And she did file the trademark and used one of our attorneys, got the trademark. Diaper Genie went after her and wanted it to be, withdrawn. And the trademark office actually said, yours is in the nursery, hers is in the kitchen. There's no confusion there. But the company did go out the door with it, and it is still called Disposal Genie. But that's one of the unusual ones, that they didn't want to rename it, but it's still sold everywhere.
Right.
We've had multiple versions of that product. And when I got divorced 20 plus years ago, and I was doing this, my daughter actually went out and lived with my ex-husband. And when she moved out, the only thing he kept was the Disposal Genie.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, you can go buy your own. You don't have to take hers.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I said, as long as it's making money or you have it licensed or an exclusive, it's like, you can redo whatever you want.
That's right. That's right. No, it's a very, very cool product. So anybody else have questions, comments tonight, concerns?
I have one.
Yeah, go. Oh, yeah, you've got your hand up there. You need to wave your hand at me, Bill, so that I know you're moving around.
All right.
There you go.
Leo, it occurs to me that there is a major difference in the folks who raise cattle toward the east part of this country and the west part of this country. Years
Yes.
ago, I did an economic survey for the Department of Agriculture over West Texas, New Mexico, parts of Arizona. And those folks out there, you know, if they run 5 head of cows per, 40 acres of land, they're doing pretty good. Back in the east, you know, it would be far, far more dense. Is your product applicable to both of those?
It absolutely is, but that's an excellent point because it would have a higher need for just a more dense herd. So that, yeah, no, that's a good point. It would probably be more viable or applicable east of the Rockies at first.
Okay. So second thing, sometime back, I encountered some guys here who have a product that estimates with remarkable accuracy the weight of a cow from pictures.
Oh.
So it occurs to me that those folks, their clientele and the ones you're looking for might have some significant overlap.
Oh, that's very
Probably
interesting.
take me a little time to find the contacts on that. But if you like, I'll take a look and see what I can find and ship it to Rita. And
That would be
forward it
greatly
to you.
appreciated. Thank you. Absolutely.
So
You're
yeah,
welcome.
that would be great. I know when I'm somebody's licensing agent and we go out and, you know, we work with the inventor, we go out and we compare, you know, lists of groups that we can contact or that we think we should contact. Because, you know, we can hit them sometimes, but you know, your input in the conversation, it's like a gentleman that we had on, you know, we were going out there, but it just wasn't going with what he said the groups should be. And it's like, all right, well, they see it as being a competitive with theirs. Let's look at some of these other things. So we started throwing some ideas out there and he said, oh my God, I hadn't even thought about those, but it makes absolute perfect sense that we need to be looking at a different series of businesses to be the potential licensees because he's got a great product. But you can't go against the ones that are going to say, no, we don't want that in the marketplace. It's our competition. So we, you know, work with you then to figure out what is the best outreach for licensing and how do we get the information out there. And then we're working with sell sheets and videos and, you know, links to wherever you want it to go. So that's what we do.
Excellent.
All right, guys. If there are no other comments, I am going to go and, you know, relax a little bit, have some dinner, and get up early tomorrow morning. And I'm going home to Tennessee, guys. Yay.
Have safe
And
travels.
All
thanks,
right,
travel.
guys.
thanks to each of you for your participation. I appreciate it. Bill Holly
I do.
out.
I'm glad we were all able to get in this time. But any of the information that you want me to share with the group, shoot it over to me. I will make sure that it gets posted. And so everybody can, you know, sometimes the best resource is the inventor sitting next to you, whether it's in person or on a screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And we've got, you know, inventors, I think, from all over the country, from the East Coast to the West Coast, and Brandon right in the middle.
And down in the South, Tampa, Florida.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Nick, did you ever get your microphone fixed? All right. Shoot me an email next week and we'll test it. We'll see what we can do when it's just you and me. Okay. All right, guys. Good night, everybody.
Good
Talk
night.
to you
Good
later.
night.
Bye-bye.